Elon Musk just responded to a great tweet about a 13-year-old girl that asked Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger a great question at the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting that happened last Friday and Saturday. And this is a very enlightening and lucid question about the status of the dollar as a global reserve currency of the world and the effect that it will have on U.S. business in the future. Listen to this question.
Mr. Buffett and Mr. Munger, hi. My name is Daphne. I'm 13 years old, and this is my 6th annual Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting. And I've had the privilege to ask you both questions in years past. My question for you today is the following. As you know, the U.S. national debt is currently at an estimated $31 trillion, making up about 125% of the U.S. GDP. In the meantime, over the past few years, the Federal Reserve has telegraphed that they intend to monetize the debt by printing trillions of dollars, even as they insist that they're fighting inflation. Already, other major economies in the world, such as China, Saudi Arabia, and Brazil, are moving away from the dollar in anticipation of this. My question is, are we likely to face a time in the future when the US dollar is no longer the global reserve currency? How is Berkshire prepared for this possibility? And what can we do as American citizens to attempt to shelter ourselves from what's beginning to look like the beginnings of de-dollarization?
Well, I should ask you to come up here and answer some questions. I mean,
So this little girl asked a question that was better than 99.999% of American journalists are capable of asking. What this says about the future of the U.S. as the U.S. loses the reserve currency status, you're going to see business decline and the lifestyle, the wealth of the country. You're going to see all of that decline in the future. And these things happen with something called S-curve adoption. It happens very slowly at first, and then bam, it's up at, So you will see this play out, but it's all starting to happen faster and faster and faster. And it's because of the internet and all of the light speed transmission of knowledge that we have these days. So Warren Buffett's answer was sort of cumbersome and not that good, but basically today, Buffett comes out with a gloomy picture of the incredible period for the U.S. economy is coming to an end. So the amazing period of growth that we have had covering all of the 20th century and some of the 21st here is now coming to an end. And it's because of losing the global reserve currency status and all of the stupid stuff that all of our politicians are doing. Now, business has gotten stupid slow. So this is Dallas Fed Manufacturing Survey, and this is old. This is from last month. I hadn't used this article yet, but it's just business slowing down, part of the business cycle. But it's slowing down as we are about to go into a recession and as this banking crisis increases. And that is this crisis is probably going to become very bad, I believe. So in World of Statistics, they listed all of these different tax rates and for all of these countries. And the US doesn't look too bad here, down at 37%. Now, taxes have a big impact on how well a society does over the long term. And you wouldn't think of it if you look at, Japan, Austria, Sweden, Belgium. These are some countries that are doing okay. And the country that's doing the best here is sort of in the middle. But then you go down to countries that have no taxes. These are oil producers here. And so they're getting their tax from their oil revenues. But Hong Kong here has no natural resources. it's a small island, and but they are an import-export hub, and they're just 15% taxes. This is one of the wealthiest societies on the planet, and it's partially because of the low taxes. Japan is not doing that great. But Elon Musk responded to this, saying that this is incorrect. The de facto U.S. national income tax is 40%. When added to California state income tax, it's 53%. This was the main reason I moved from California, but there are others. California just made it impossible for me to do business. They made my life a nightmare. Now, if you take this 53%, that isn't where it ends. The normal person looks at the tax that they pay the government on their income, but if you're an employee, there's matching employee taxes that the employer pays, and the federal payroll tax is about 15.3% that you have to add on top of that 53%. So now you're up at 68% if you're in California. And that covers things like Social Security tax rate of 6.2%, Medicare tax rate 1.5%, Medicare, an additional Medicare of 0.9%, and the unemployment tax of 6%. Now, these things are capped at certain income levels. And so this isn't a progressive tax where you pay more the more you make. It's a regressive tax where you pay more the less you make. So minimum wage employees, for instance, actually cost the employer quite a bit. And you really do need to add all of this to your income tax that you're paying. And then on top of that, in California, after you've paid your 68% tax, or 60, it's over 60 when you add these. It's like I said, it's capped, but it's over 60% that you're paying. And then you have to go out and spend some of that, and you got to pay sales tax. So now you're up at 70. But then you take a look at the extra tax that they charge on things like gasoline, your phone bill, your power bill, your water bill. Take a look at the tax breakdown on all of these, and you'll see that if you live in California, you're actually paying somewhere around 75% of your income is being taken by government officials that say, "Ooh, no, you can't have that unless I get my cut." And so what do we get for all of that? Well, San Francisco becomes a ghost town as major retailers flee. And they're fleeing because of all of these progressive policies. And you look at places where they want to try to redistribute all of the income and take care of everybody. And sometimes this stuff just doesn't work. And downtown San Francisco is becoming an area, a lot of these businesses are closing because of the crime. And then in Great Britain, people need to accept that they are poorer, says the Bank of England. What they're saying is happening here is inflation is being caused by people either passing on their rising costs to the consumer, or people asking for raises because their standard of living is falling because of inflation, which the Bank of England caused and the Federal Reserve caused. So they caused it, but now they're saying, well, it's your fault because you think that you should be able to live the way that you did yesterday. So these the central banks and the entire banking system are at fault when it comes to inflation, when it comes to inequality of income and wealth distribution. The guilty parties are the world's central banks and the commercial banks. I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. At GoldSilver.com, we have a price match guarantee, free shipping, global storage options, and phenomenal customer service. Thanks for making GoldSilver.com your bullion dealer.